Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Everyone rise for pledge of allegiance. Bob,
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Be seated. This way back from Traverse City. I'd like to amend it, moving Molly up after public comment. I'd like to move Jim Simons up after Molly. And I'd like to move Vic up, I guess right after Jim. That'll get them out of the way. Also need to add, under new business, Manistee County bill for the assessment roll maintenance that we got and didn't act on last month. It's a rather large amount, and I don't think it's quite due yet, but we could pay it, so I'd like to add that under new business. And that's it. Oh, no, but, okay, under Molly's thing, we're gonna add, I'm sorry, I guess I should say it. So I'm moving Molly up, and she has two things: the resolution to set an alternate date for the Barge Board review, first public meeting, and also a resolution establishing the poverty guidelines for exemption from property tax contributions. All right, thank you. Okay. Public comment. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Lindy Evans with State Savings Bank in Beulah, and traveling around in my position at the bank, visiting townships and villages to find out if there's any way the bank can be of help to the community. And I just want to say hello, and that's it.
Okay.
I've also brought some calendars, so I'll leave them on the table before I leave.
Okay, that would be great.
Thank you.
You guys are together?
Yes.
Okay, anybody else? I forgot to add one more thing. We're gonna do it right now. Bob, I'm sorry, Clerk Bob. The clerk that won the election, Amber, had not taken the oath of office by January 1st. So the township is gonna seek applications for, which is on the agenda I'll talk about. But in the meantime, I need someone to make a motion, and Bob cannot vote. Do we need to reappoint Bob as acting clerk?
I'd like to do that.
I mentioned you would. Until as the time is where a replacement can be found, or we'll just say, or Bob resigns. How's that?
I think that sounds good.
Okay,
Is
is there a
It's
motion?
down in his hand.
Is there a second?
If you'll leave out the or until he resigns.
Well, he could resign at any time.
Chief.
I know.
Second.
Okay, well, the motion is just to appoint. Okay. Discussion? None being heard, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You know what, we're gonna do a roll call vote. Cindy?
Aye.
David, yes. Matt?
I,
Okay.
No.
You can't vote. Now you
Pardon?
can.
You're still on mute. I just wouldn't mind listening and do it for a minute.
Well, do you want me to unmute?
Not,
It'd
when
be
you don't
nice.
unmute, just make it so it doesn't come through your headphones.
You better unmute and then mute.
Did you have some comment under public comment?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This is Libby. It is very difficult. I'm having a difficult time to sign in on this meeting. I don't know what happened. I just got on and I saw that Bob was appointed to as interim clerk again. Congratulations, Bob. I'm very happy for the township residents, if not for you. Anyway, can we have sort of a procedure on how we get in? It said that.
No, the problem was the computer here it didn't hook up right away. It had nothing to do with the procedure. It had to do with the fact that it wouldn't open up until about 2 minutes after 4.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else on the Zoom call for public comment? Going, gone. Okay. Molly. Hey,
That's it?
That's it? You want to give your report and then we'll act on these two things? Or tell the board why we need to act on these two things?
We have to approve the poverty guidelines every year, and then our March board review this year, our first date will be on Wednesday, so we have to have a resolution moving beginning date to Wednesday.
Okay,
We're gonna act on them separately.
we have to, I think, yes. So we will do that first.
Yes.
Okay, the first one is resolution to set an alternative date for the 2025 March board review, and it will be on January,
We
Yeah,
just-
March.
I'm sorry, I got March.
I think it's March 12th.
March 12th, beginning Wednesday, March 12th. So would somebody,
Your clerk will.
Move to approve the resolution.
Yes.
okay,
Or make a motion to approve the resolution.
somebody make a motion.
I'll
just so
make
we
a
have-
motion.
Okay,
Second.
any discussion? None, all in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed? None? So I would say it was but yeah, you voted yes. Okay, I'm gonna sign this.
That was painless. Molly, you got anything else?
And today's date is the,
We've got
what
to
is
deal with
it?
the poverty. Okay, I'll keep you guys in mind.
You do that to Robert. Clerk Bob. Okay, the next one is a resolution establishing the poverty guidelines for exemption from property tax contributions. The guidelines have to deal with unit size of house and dollar value. It's gonna be unit one person, 15,060, two people, 20,440, three people, 25,820, four people, 31,200, five people, 36,580, six people, 41,960, seven people, 47,340, eight people, 52,720. For each additional person above that figure of eight, it's $5,380 extra cash. So if somebody would so make that motion,
I'm warm, boy. I will.
okay, and supported by Matt. Okay, Bob and Matt, this got to be filled out. I'll let you fill it out. I gotta do roll call vote. So Bob,
Yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
David, yes, Matt.
Yes.
Okay, I declare that passed. Absent would be Ed. Supervisors declared the resolution adopted. Well, that's kind of weird. Bob, I'm gonna give this to you, because I actually don't know if I sign my name on that or print it or what. Well, I don't know what they want there. Look at it. There's two lines. I'll do whatever you want.
Molly, what do we need here?
Do you know, Molly? There's two spots.
Correct,
Supervisor.
you write your name,
And then, oh,
then write your name.
okay, whatever. I didn't. Signature's not
You
good
haven't
enough.
done this before, have you?
No, only about 30 times, but
Okay.
Make the X.
okay. Anything else to say, Molly?
Nope, working on the assessment roll as we speak.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Mr. Simons.
Right around the 1st of December, Doug filed the paperwork for the dredging permit for the deep water. Maintenance dredge up in the deep water. So that's filed, we have nothing to heard of it. I gave Bob two quotes, one from Brown Brothers. Scott gave you two quotes, one for two lifts of 1.5 inch and one lift of 3 inch. And Scott told me that the kayak launch asphalt was a 3 inch lift. So that is about 75 grand. Spicer's is 10,900.
Okay,
He's got 2 copies, so.
I did get a needle form to fill out that the township is
for
Yeah.
gifting.
gifting to them, and that's part of the structure.
Right.
So who fills that out? We fill that out now, or does Jim fill it out, or?
But wait a minute,
You were working on
I
it.
was going to, but now I have a question. So when you brought up, and I'm sorry, I was taking notes on something else. Did you say Spice, the 10,000 for Spicer, what's that for?
That's for the engineering and design documents.
Okay.
And site.
That's what I thought you said, but I wanted to make sure. So at the last meeting, Jim thought it was gonna be under 5,000 based on a discussion with
They changed it.
Spicer, and so at that,
I don't know if I said that I thought it would be, Pat told me it was gonna be, it wouldn't be much money now.
okay, but
Give him whatever much money.
sure, but the
Yeah.
reason I'm bringing that up is, there was some discussion about it being under 5,000, however that happened. And so my comment was, I think you had talked to Laura and she talked about a grant
Right,
that they can respond to in 45 days.
right.
We would not be eligible for that if we're going to ask for more than $5,000 toward that. Because the grants that have the 45-day response have to be 5,000 or less.
That's Minger.
Well, I think it's really any grant there. And we had talked about Minger, so we either need to wait for the grant cycle if we want to go up to $9,000 of that, 'cause you do have to do a 10% match. Or if we're willing to absorb 5,000 of that, then we,
Pay it ourselves.
or pay, or do 5,000, then we could apply for the $5,000 grant and get a quicker response. The foundation, and I checked it before the meeting, has not yet announced the grant cycle for the one that we're gonna want for the paving. But they're supposed to make that announcement in January. And I had said that I would write the grant.
Laura said it'd be around the 1st of April.
It could be, but they haven't announced it
Right.
yet.
Right.
So do we have enough time to wait to try to get the extra $4,000 or not?
Where you got?
Well, here, but
it's more
here's,
for it. Yeah, 4, 8,
I think we
9,
wanted, here was the issue.
10.
We have to have the engineering first,
Oh, before you can
so
apply
that we
for
can
it.
apply for the grant.
So you
So
can't
that's
really
why
wait.
we were talking about
Okay.
doing,
It's 10, 9 total on Spicer.
So you really can't wait because you have to have the engineering work done first.
Right,
And
yeah.
we're
if
not
you
gonna-
waited to get the grant money to pay for it all, they're not gonna, no, it won't make any difference. You'll be a
Right.
year out.
Right.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because there'll be another grant cycle in the fall, but then by the time that's awarded, the weather's probably not gonna be appropriate.
Okay,
So it might just cost us an extra 4,000 to.
yes.
Yes, if you wanna do the small grant.
And get it done in time to.
Yeah,
We get it
I
done.
mean, with Jim's help, I can get the grant inquiry written yet this week and then write the grant. I said with your help, I just need information to write
Yeah.
it, that's all I meant.
Okay, you want a motion to proceed that route?
I would think that as a matter of policy
I
and
think we
practice,
should.
we're always gonna want motions about grants.
Someone want to make a motion, we do that? Let Cindy and work with Jim on this and apply? Matt,
I would make that motion to
proceed on
So
that.
that we're applying for a $5,000 grant
and it to,
with us.
in order to get that done in a timely manner, and so the boat launch maybe would be ready for the.
Well, the fall season,
And so the township's gonna do a $5,900 match.
basically.
Okay.
You're seconding that?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion? My clerk left, I guess not. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, he's not opposed, okay. Jim, anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. Vic, why don't I move you up real quick, right here after Jim?
Okay, December meeting minutes are out on the website. They are unapproved until we meet on January 31st. The January 31st agenda is not yet finalized, so it's not out there. Last month, we had a motion to establish a contract for snow plowing in North Point Park. We've talked about this for the last 2 or 3 years, but we haven't done it. The problem that we have at North Point is it is used all winter long. And the porta potty is used all winter long, and there have been instances when we did not snow plow. So they couldn't get in and clean the porta potty, and it ended up being an ugly situation. So last month you approved the plowing contract with Larson. I'd just like the board to officially say we're also going to include North Point through the winter so that we can service that porta potty.
Is it sitting in the same spot as it had been? Right up, okay.
The porta potty is there now.
The problem is if it snows and it's not cleaned up, they can't get into it.
What does the county, I haven't been out there lately, what does the county do when they pull in there with the snow plow?
Snow plow, North Point,
I'm,
Langland.
yeah, I got that in my head.
This is North Point.
Do you want to get a bid or we have an idea?
Go through the same thing if you don't get a bid, you know, if we don't get some, Larson gave us a blanket bid, but it didn't include
North Point.
or Langland.
Well, Langland, we don't need unless we make the decision that we're gonna put a porta potty out there. We've had some discussion on that.
There isn't one there now.
Langland? No.
It's
County does that.
I'm sorry?
County does Langland.
Right, but in the event that we would eventually come to you and ask for a porta potty out there, which has not happened to this point, but might. The county doesn't plow up to where the porta potty would be, so we would need to have that cleaned out as well. But we're talking about that as part of the budget.
Yeah.
We have no request for Langland right now. This is North Point, just to make sure
Vic,
that
we leave the gates open all winter there?
at North Point, it's used all winter long.
Okay.
Yeah, we have volunteers clean up the porta potty stuff since we don't have an employee on that porta potty, I'm sorry. The dog potty thing.
Okay.
It's a popular dog walking.
No, I get it. How do we accomplish this? Just hire Larson? We should get a bid is what I'm saying.
Well, okay, I'm well within my budget for maintenance. I mean, well within budget for maintenance and, it's up to you guys whether you want to actually formalize it, but I've got the budget to do it.
I think we approved Larson to do other plowing and
I'll call Larson.
we might just have to get a
Take
bid.
care of it.
Okay.
Because otherwise you get somebody that's gonna drive all the way out there. that's
Oh,
not
I'll take
here.
care of it.
Yeah, thank you, Clerk Bob. Anything else, Vic? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
the
Excellency.
last month at the board meeting, you approved the bylaws, for the committees. Is there a signed copy of that somewhere so that I can post it on the website?
Pass.
You can't pass through the clerk.
Well,
I don't know where they are.
Okay, well, you can just pass through today.
I have no idea where they are. I know we talked about it.
You need a signed copy. It's not on the website,
Ed
that's
will
why.
have them
Yeah.
on his computer,
Oh,
because he
that's
drafted
right.
it.
Yep, you're right.
And he can give you a clean copy, like without the tracking on it.
And
Okay.
he's the one that took them all.
Yeah, no, I understand that. All right, as far as the storage building, as I'm doing the budget, should I be including anything in the storage building, or is that just something we would amend budget when you guys want to do?
It's not gonna be just for Parks and Rec, so it doesn't have to be all in your budget for sure. I mean, because it'd be used for storage.
Stuff.
Yes, it's not all Parks and Recs garbage. I'm sorry, supplies, whatever you wanna call it. Stuff that's in my building right now.
Part of it and stuff that's in back, et cetera. So, okay, I mean, I hope they have the budget, the initial budget, all of the board members, maybe by Monday, Tuesday, for you to look at it and get back to me. And then I told that it'd be by the 31st. But I just didn't know whether I should do anything on that, so I'll leave that out for now.
Okay,
And I think that's really it.
okay. Cool, thank you very much. What's that, Bob?
Harbor Commission.
Already did that.
Yeah.
Financial reports. Oh, no, minutes first, I'm
We
sorry.
can't do financial reports.
Without ads, we're gonna pass that. How about we'll do minutes first? Regular board meeting minutes of December 11th, 2024.
And I'm a bit lengthy.
That are a bit lengthy, but they're very,
Inclusion, well, Ed had wanted that whole document included, so that was like almost 3 pages. So I would move for approval of the minutes of the meeting of December 11th.
as presented.
I would
I would,
Okay,
second that motion.
okay. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? None being heard, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? None, absent, Ed. Okay, we'll pass financial reports till Ed gets here. Clerk report. Yeah. And do you want to wait till Ed gets here and give your clerk's report?
You want me to talk about a warranty deed that you didn't want to talk about?
We can talk about the warranty. So we had a person donate some property out in Mr. Haig, I'll say is on Benton Road, Charlotte. He donated Portage Park Edition lots 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23, block 69. Parcel number ending in 292-840. Then he also donated Portage Park Edition lots 1 through 29, block 70, parcel number ending in 292-8600 as of December 30th, 2024. So I just wanted to mention that and go back to Bob. I took it down and got it recorded so that the recorded deed,
Just take that with you for your notes. And I guess
you can just take, because the recorded, the original's coming back tomorrow.
Okay.
So we can make mention of that.
You need to. If
So-
you need to take.
Go ahead.
where is this line, whatever, I don't know. anything.
Where is this? So it's out in that area where we have other wet lots.
Kind of like,
Across the street from you, kind of in that area. It's not all,
Okay.
it's not all wet. It's
Right.
up farther, Bob, north. Yeah, right in there. No, farther south. Right in that area, right there. Anyways,
Sunny side, right?
he didn't want to pay taxes on it anymore. Been paying taxes on it and just decided that he doesn't want to fight the fact that maybe it's unbuildable. It probably would have become buildable with a sewer. But without a sewer, it's probably not gonna perk. Go ahead.
Is that within the area that we broadly call the wetlands?
I mean, I'm just guessing, the
I
road,
could
the
pull it
road
up on here. I'd
description,
look it up, but I don't know how to do that on
It's-
here.
those are pretty wet lots, I think.
They're pretty wet.
Which would make it a wonderful addition.
Oh, yeah, no, that's why,
Right.
that's why I think it's a good idea. And
And given this letter from Eagle about if you mess with a wetland, what ends up happening to
And we're
you.
about to re-engage with GTRLC after they completed the Alberta project, so this would fit very, very nicely.
Yeah.
So I'll just, Cindy, maybe get with you and see where they are.
if you stay late enough, I'll just pull it up on the computer and
Okay.
show you. So, okay,
Donated it.
Art Haig,
HAIGH.
do you know who that is? I didn't know him either. I talked to him just on the phone. Nice gentleman. So I had Tom prepare, Tom prepared the deeds. We did a little bit of title work on it to make sure that there was no issue going back and we're gonna have a clean chain of title. So should have given it to Molly when she was here. And then change it to tax exempt, but she'll do that when she gets the deed, so.
That'd be a nice addition to the wetland area.
Right,
Keep it for until you do the next.
you can give me a copy back. We should send this gentleman a letter of thanks.
Yeah.
Can we do that, Mr. Clerk?
On the letter.
Okay. Nice ending letter.
Maybe not.
A very nicely worded, thank you very much for your donation, the township's gonna,
AI will send them.
the township's gonna build a new garage out there on it or something, no, don't say that.
You can watch birds out there when you're retired from your.
Okay, anything else, Bob? You're looking forward to the next couple months?
No,
Okay, so back to the clerk's thing, we might as well explain that. So when Amber did not take the oath of office, the office became open. We've reappointed Bob now. We have an ad in the, or on the website, on the township board,
I'll post it on.
Post it and post it on Facebook.
I
You
didn't do it yet, I'll do it.
can post it on Facebook and probably put an ad. We're gonna solicit applications for a new clerk.
Solicit's not the right word.
Invite.
Entertain, invite, whatever you wanna call it. Applications for a new position for a clerk in by the end of the month. Because we'd have to do interviews and appoint before the
45 days.
45 days, which is 31 and 41 and 4, the 14th.
20 some, about 20 days from.
By February 14th at the latest, we would have to appoint. That's within 45 days.
And you swear on a stack of Bibles that I'll be out here by then.
No, I don't swear
That's what I
anymore.
thought.
That begins
You
the
ain't-
training
you ain't
regimen where he's.
Bob and will be fine.
Yeah, well, I'll be.
Yeah, I think the posting said. I'm looking for it quick, was the 24th or the 27th?
Okay, it's before the end of the month. Okay.
Yeah.
The posting says we wanted it in the 24th.
Well, that gives time for stuff to get here to, yeah, I mean, okay.
At 5 PM on the 24th.
We've received one application so far. Okay. So that's it. That's how that's going. So if you're looking for a clerk's job. The duties are here somewhere. Bob has the duties if somebody comes in and wants to know what they're responsible for doing.
I believe they're posted.
Anybody's interested, I'd be glad to talk to them. Boy, I'll take them out for lunch, do whatever you gotta do.
Okay, we're moving on. Free lunch. Treasury report, once he gets back. Ed, okay, Mr. Dons,
Okay, good afternoon.
good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Give you a quick recap of the last couple of months of the super highlights. Regional Summit, we are not looking to probably continue the regional summit at the moment. It's a little bit in the air until the committee meets for the first time this year. I'm an advocate for maybe every other year, maybe half a day. I do think there's some good outreach that goes on there and the communication between the local units and the county, there's always room for improvement. Airport, we're gonna be under transition this year at some point. I don't know when. Trying to seek a meeting with Kevin Klein, who was the airport, manager up in Traverse City, to pick his brain a little bit. We have a firm hired. I can't think of the name right off the top right now, but we do have a new engineering firm at the airport, and we are also consulting with them to try to figure out a path. You can turn the page with someone that has interest in doing Barry's job, which is manager and fixed base operator. That's one option. Another option is you contract the fixed base operation and hire a manager, or they could all become county employees, which legacy costs with that's not a good move either. So it's gonna wind up probably costing the county some more money. I don't know how much. We're in a state of unknown at the moment, but to be continued.
Can I ask, is he retiring? Is that what's causing this?
Yes.
Or, oh, okay.
Riley Apartments down where the old Kennedy School was, if you haven't noticed, they have been moving dirt down there. So that's a positive thing, 288 units in 2 phases. We opened up bids today at Ways and Means, and we still have some vehicles to be sold. I'd have to look at Ways and Means minutes, but the Interceptors, we'll be accepting the bids. They met the minimum standard. We still have a couple of snowmobiles and jet skis and a boat that we have not had any bids on as of yet.
Is it county's jet skis?
Yes,
Oh.
Sheriff Department.
Okay.
Uh,
They get rid of your Cadillac or?
my cabin,
I'm just wondering.
never had one.
Oh, okay.
You're the collector guy. Recycling grant, I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier before the meeting. We've applied for a grant. Carla can expand on it if she's so desired. If we're successful, it's to be put on road commission property up there. It'll be fenced. And, I don't know, any details you want to share on that, Carla?
We've worked with the road commission. We're gonna get approximately 5 acres. It'll help to jumpstart the part 115 and some of their requirements, as well as the recycling, the PA 69 recycling program. It will help with that. It'll help with the household hazardous waste, tire collections, all of those things. This will help with a lot of different things and part of 115, a big part of that is, composting, and we would have some mechanical composting happening, which is pretty exciting. There's a lot of really amazing, machinery that you can get now, and you can compost 2,000 pounds down to 20% of that in 48 to 72 hours.
Well,
That's a
of
lot of
wheat.
decomposing there.
And it,
Where was this at?
they're in the road
Road
commission.
commission property.
Oh, okay.
So you've signed that paper already last month, right? That's been signed, that's,
Well,
we're kind of,
all we
you're
did,
agreed
we
to?
asked for their approval if we're successful in the grant.
Okay,
To
they-
make the grant application higher chance of being successful.
and I do have the paperwork from the road commission. I dropped that off to Lisa today, so, you know, with the meeting minutes and everything,
When will we hear that grant, the answer for that?
July.
Not till July, okay.
Okay, so that brings up, since we're already into that, the PA 69. I was asked to make sure that you folks know what was signed by you guys, was it 3 months ago, Dave? 4 months ago? September,
Probably.
maybe?
September, October. September.
Anyway, that was an addendum. It needs to be renewed. So to stay active in your PA 69 and keep the bins where they are, the investment was put in by you guys. We need to have that renewed. PA 69. And that's, you know, I talked to Dave about that a little bit before the meeting, so if there's any questions, please call. I don't know if you have anything to add, Carla, but it needs to get done. I would highly recommend, I don't know what the timeline is for that to be active for the tax rolls, but you're gonna want to definitely make sure you don't miss those timelines. I don't know what that timeline is, but I would not let any grass grow underneath anybody's feet on this one.
Well, I know that Ed and I had talked at the last meeting about it. However, I think what's interesting, our legal counsel looked at it and said that it's valid what we did, so.
What
That's
you
what they
did
said.
was a use of the property. You can use the property up until December 31st. After December 31st of 2024, you have nothing. You have no contract for recycling. You have no contract for the property that your recycling is on.
Our legal counsel would disagree with that based on the amendment, but that Ed and I will meet.
Well, the addendum on that, to my understanding, and I'm not a lawyer and I don't play one on TV, but it is specifically so the township could spend some money and put it on county property to have a recycle location. Then you have PA 69, a whole nother bucket that pays for some of this stuff, pays for a lot of this stuff. What is it, $18 a parcel, improved parcel, I think?
Parcel.
To pay for the actual collection, yeah.
Correct.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, point made.
All right. Contour at the airport, we've been having some hiccups. We got an airport authority meeting coming up. And Matt Chaffetz is gonna be zooming into us and hopefully we'll get some answers in regard to that. I don't know what's factual and what's rumors. Yes.
So we flew out remember I called you before and said, should I be concerned with the whole deal because we're flying out of here and all that? Left on time. Came back, when we came back, got in 10 minutes early. No issues.
What I would tell you, the difference between this and Cape Air. Cape Air had more than one flight a day this time of the year. And because we only have one flight a day, it's my assumption, and you don't want to start any with that, but is if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Oh, okay.
You know, but again, I don't know all the details as of yet. I know if I buy a ticket, and I'm passing through, it's gonna be on the same airline. I'm not going to try to buy one ticket for contour and then go through security and keep going and then get another ticket to go to wherever I want to go through, going through O'Hare. I'm gonna, personally, I will buy a ticket on American and make that route. I am doing that in February for the first time since Frontier did.
So we didn't go through security again.
Yeah. I didn't-
No, you don't have to. If you, if the bags go on, they do have, but the problem that you get into, Dave, is if you have different tickets and you have a hiccup here, you're not the responsibility of that next ticket because you didn't get there. You follow what I'm saying? Am I?
Yeah, but we bought the tickets through American, then they
Yeah.
issued the contour ones.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's a,
yeah, that's fine, but you bought them through American, so you were.
Correct.
Yeah. No issue there.
no, and there's no issues with the plane. The plane flight was very smooth. It was short. It was, they even had beverage service, which you're only in the air about 35 minutes.
All right, December board meeting, had a performance review for Lisa. Lisa's doing a great job, our county administrator, Lisa Segala. Averaged 4.5 points out of 4.54 out of 5 points available. She's doing a great job. We got a very good team in there right now. We have, airport authority. We've had some new, changes there. We've got Dylan Walker and, Preston Picardy are the new airport authority board members. Library board, we made a change there as well with Lynn Williams. Park and Rec, 3 years for Mr. DeYoung and Meg Botzer. And in unexpired terms, Bob Schulke is on the Park and Rec for the county. Road Commission, Paul Petrovich is the new road commission guy, and I've had a couple of conversations with him. I think he's gonna be a very good addition to that board. He's new to the area about 7 years ago. Had an organizational meeting. I was elected chair again. And,
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. Big Bob, you have to.
I know how you feel.
But anyway, any questions? Anyone?
No, thanks.
All right, that was easy.
That was easy. Press that easy button.
PA 69 though.
Yeah, I got it. We're gonna talk about it as soon as my other board member gets there. Thank you. You gonna stay, Carla, for a while? Okay, good deal. Thank you very much.
I got another meeting at 7,
Yeah, well, you wanna give the rest of your report, or you kinda did?
but I'll wait.
Okay,
All
all right. Well, he should be here shortly. Do we have all this stuff to approve holidays for 2025? Which ones were taken off? Did you guys develop a,
It's in the packet. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I mean. Do you wanna make a motion that we do that?
Make a motion that we approve the official holidays for Onekama Township
For 2025?
for 2025 is written in the packet. I'm scrolling down to find it, but
I think this was holiday calendar or something like that.
yeah,
It might be on the calendar.
the way is,
It's way down there.
I'll second that.
there, yeah, Onekama Township Holiday Calendar, 2025.
You wanna list some? We should, I can't pull it up. City can't
Do
pull.
you want me to read them off?
Yeah, go ahead. Just read them off. That way we have them in the minutes. Right.
One of 25 is New Year's Day, 1/20 of 25 Martin Luther King Day, 2/17/25 President's Day, 5/26/25 Labor Day, 6/19/25 Juneteenth, 7/4 of 25 is Independence Day, 9/1 of 25 is Labor Day, 10/13/25 is Columbus Day, 11/11/25 is Veterans Day, 11/27/25 is Thanksgiving, 11/28/25 is day after Thanksgiving, 12/24/25 Christmas Eve, 12/25/25 Christmas Day, and then 12/31/25 New Year's Eve. Township office is closed December 24 through January 1, unless statutorily is required.
I was a little confused by that list just because some of those holidays listed really don't affect
Us.
office hours, but I mean, it's still
Most-
okay. I
most
mean, it
of them are
says it does,
Office hours.
right.
Okay, motion made, motion seconded,
Yes.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. The budget calendar,
That was in the packet
Oh,
also.
there it is. Oh, I got the 2026 budget calendar.
That's good.
that's right.
Well, that, right, fiscal year 2025, 26 is
Okay.
what that,
Go ahead, if Ed was here, we'd rattle it off. Go ahead,
I
just
can-
rattle it off.
it's pretty easy.
January 8th, 2025 on a Wednesday, 4 o'clock, Township Board regular meeting. January 31, 2025 Friday, committees and departments. February 12th, 2025 is a Wednesday, 4 PM, Township Board. It's a regular meeting. February 26th, 2025 is a Wednesday, 5 o'clock, Township Board. And that is for budget and public hearing, budget work session. And then in March 10th, 2025 is a Monday, 5 PM at the Township Board office. March 19th of 2025 is a Wednesday, 4 PM, Township Board office, regular meeting. March 31 of 2025 is a Monday. End of the township fiscal year is that on that day.
Okay,
Good?
yeah, thank you. I just
Yeah,
wanted to
no
rattle it off. I think we still need a motion to approve the calendar. You're not, I think. I mean, it's just published, but it should be motioned,
I'll make that. motion.
official thing to approve the calendar. Budget calendar is presented, okay.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Matt. Any discussion? No, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that's carried. Budget amendment.
Even though I think it's pretty easy to understand, we might want to wait till Ed gets here.
Okay,
I mean, that's up to you,
well,
but
that's okay. We can do that. We'll just go by it. Establish process for potential clerk application. Kind of beat that to death already. once. Does anybody want to hear about that again? I think
Bob would.
We beat that to death.
or I think Bob would. Clerk's salary resolution, we're gonna have to wait for Ed on that. Recording secretary partial resignation. What does that,
Yes.
so Michelle Swanson sent an email to members of like Vic, myself, people involved with either chair or minutes of Parks Commission, Planning Commission, and invasive species. In the email, she feels that she's overextended, and although she wants to continue to take the minutes for Planning Commission because she sees a benefit to herself for learning more about Planning Commission, she no longer wants to take the minutes for Parks Commission or invasive species. So both Vic and I sent it to you and Ed, kind of saying, not sure if he knew this, but what are we gonna do for these two committees? Vic, I think you made a comment that you were wondering about using AI through Zoom.
I
I don't,
Zoom says they have an AI note-taking capability. And I thought, well, I'm kind of out of luck and we're using the owl anyway, so our meetings are recorded for the public. Why not try this AI minutes taker just to see how it works? So I'm okay to be a guinea pig if that works for you guys. This would need.
so if it doesn't work, then who's gonna do the minutes?
I don't know, and the reason I
Okay.
sent it to you and Ed, since I was appointed in May, I don't know what happened previously that Michelle ended up being recording secretary. I don't know if that was a township board decision or what, so, you know, I sent it more notifying the board, and then if we are going to find somebody else, what's that process?
So that's something then maybe the new clerk would be, or that would be a extension of their.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong.
I doubt it.
So this all started when, Michelle Irvin was chair. And she was trying to do chair and minutes at the same time. And that didn't work well. So then they said, Michelle jumped in, she was gonna take minutes.
Is anyone else interested in doing it? Has anybody asked
I haven't
anything?
asked anybody. I wouldn't know who
Okay.
to ask. I don't know if there's certain qualifications you have to have. I don't know.
But nice if you could type.
Yeah, really nice,
I mean,
but I.
Yeah, because we got the same
Is
issue
that
on
right?
invasive
Did I say it right?
species.
Yeah,
Are you talking about why she came to
Yes.
Parks and Rec?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I mean, she has been the official note taker for these committees for quite some time. Parks and Rec was the most recent addition about 2 years ago.
okay.
Okay, so this is
Well,
our,
you wanna try that?
I'll try it. I mean, but I don't want to use that as an excuse not to find somebody. If
No, no.
there's somebody available.
and maybe we could ask her, maybe she knows someone that would be willing to do it, or.
But she's still gonna do planning.
she would like to continue doing planning.
Well, that's
commission.
fine with me. Why would you get rid of her? I mean,
I read the email, it just sounds like she's cramped, she took on some new responsibilities in other
Yeah.
areas and she's kind of cramped on time, so.
okay,
She may know in her circle of people that do those
why
things.
don't you try that, but why don't we still look for somebody else, cause we need them for evasive too, right?
Right.
And I was good for the trails team too, I was gonna use her for.
Oh, well, now you got three.
Yeah, I think we should find
It'll be
somebody.
interesting to see how this works, AI,
I'll
so.
play with it, but I do think we should find somebody.
I mean, we can post that too. I mean, I don't know what the compensation, I just don't know what I don't know about that whole.
I have no idea, what is the compensation for the meeting? Is it by the meeting or by the hour?
no, it's by the hour, right? No, it's by the meeting up to a certain point, like the first
I think it was up to 90 minutes.
90 minutes was a certain amount, like. What, $75 or something like that?
I don't
You know, a certain amount for 90 minutes, anything over that was.
So why don't we post something on the website?
We'll need to get the agreement though first so that we understand.
Yeah,
And if it was a different rate after 90 minutes, we should change it to just a certain flat rate for, the amount of time or something, because that was odd that we're trying to force a meeting to be done in 90 minutes because we're paying someone extra money. That just seemed like a silly.
okay. Okay. We need to accept her partial resignation?
I don't know what a partial.
I don't know what that is.
Well, I think she called it partial because she wants to continue to do planning.
Okay, so she's made us aware she wants to play, so I would say that's okay. I mean, it's better than her quit completely. Is anybody consensus? Everyone okay with that?
Yeah,
She does-
well,
Okay.
the other thing is if we find someone who's interested in doing it. However, they may not have a lot of experience, maybe she'd be willing to work with the other person.
Help train them.
And then we have our person to do the other committees.
Okay.
I just don't know how common it is to find someone that would like to do that. Or she'd be willing to train someone.
Don't see him beating the door down.
Right.
I guess the only comment I would make is she did seem to know like all the rules that you have to follow.
Right.
For the rules, which I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. Okay, moving on to the, for under new business, which is the invoice from Manistee County for 2024, invoice for tax maps, assessment roll maintenance, tax rolls, tax bills, and computer services, and 2024 summer tax collection invoices, 2025 contractual services agreement. The amount is.
I remember seeing that in the packet.
This we had last
Who's left?
month. We put it off for a month because it really wasn't due yet. The date needs to be changed because it's got on here first day of Well, I guess you could enter in this contract the first day, but today's not the first day. Anyway,
How much?
$11,820.30. That's at a rate of $4.79 per parcel. For a period of 1 year commencing the first day of January 2025. Anyways, if someone would make a motion to pay this invoice for that.
I will make that motion, Dave.
Okay, is there a second?
Well, I would, excuse me, I would second that.
Okay. Thank you.
This is something recurring every year.
Reoccurs every year. The rate changes a little bit. I think this went up a little bit, if I'm not mistaken.
$4 before, it was 4 or something.
3.1% increase, actually, is what it went up, so. No other discussion? How about we'll do roll call vote? Matt,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
David, yes?
Cindy next, yes.
Yes, I was gonna go to you instead of Bob, but I put Bob out of order. And I declare that passed. Ed is absent. Take note of that. I'm just gonna pass this to you. You can fill it out and I'll sign it after the meeting. There's a whole bunch of them.
I want to copy. So I know what I'm saying.
You wanna make a copy of the whole thing? There's 2 papers.
You got another. They gave you 2.
Yeah, the memorandum is just talking about the agreement.
Yeah, Lisa wrote a memo explaining it, I believe.
Yeah, that's all this is, and it talks about, please return 1 signed original to county, keep the other 1 signed original at the township. I don't know why that
And when
is.
was this one due?
I'm sorry?
When is it due?
At any time, it's not late,
Okay.
so. We'll give that if he wants to see that.
They'll always take the money.
They always take the money. We could have paid it last month, but.
This is.
Okay, DNR launch parking lot. We don't need to talk anymore about that, Jim, do we? We've discussed it. Okay, we're good with that. Okay. Recycling interlocal agreement. Ed's still not here, so we're gonna go past that for a minute. DeVoe compliance law order. So Mr. DeVoe put up. I haven't been there since I've been gone for a week, but he had 4 sections of fence up on the rear of the house, blocking whatever vehicles there were from that. And I don't know if he put any more up since then. But I haven't been there for 10 days.
I've been gone for a couple of weeks.
Okay, so I'll go there tomorrow. I'll call him. I mean, he did start putting it up, so that's what we want done. Bernard dock violation. Mr. Bernard still has his, as of 10 days ago. The lift is still on the road right away, but about 100 feet from the lake, the road end. And the buoy, mooring buoy is still in the water. That did not get removed. I had the road commission put 2 markers up.
Just signify that both the road and the
They,
waters.
they put 2 public access markers down by the water.
Yeah, I think last meeting you said that that was done. And
Okay.
then you were
Yes.
going to go double check and see if it was
Still
there,
there.
and issue the
So,
citation.
so I haven't done that yet because I've been gone, but I will do that because he hasn't, if it's still there tomorrow, then they not moved it yet. That's the last thing to me.
So is
So
that mooring buoy, it's something that needs to come out of the water, that would be. a
I can't believe
hazard.
you leave them. I don't know if
Well, the ice is gonna do something to it, but,
well, I don't,
well, it depends on which way the wind blows and the ice starts melting, I guess.
okay.
It could be potentially become a hazard to other boaters and you ran, you know, if it's on a chain, it goes out, let's say 8 feet, and then that buoy or whatever is underwater now because it's attached to a chain.
Okay.
Somebody takes off and runs into it.
Oh,
Bad idea.
okay, that's why.
That's why everybody takes their stuff out in the winter most of the time. Or
Okay,
you take the buoy off of the chain at the bottom and then you bring it back up.
okay, Portage Lake Bible Camp. road vacation. I was hoping David would be here. They have a hearing coming up for, the ZBA on this, do they not?
What's that?
Orange Lake Covenant Bible Camp.
Yeah,
What day is
they
that?
call it Orange Lake Bible Camp. It's Covenant Bible.
Yeah,
All right, yes,
and what day?
I think it's Thursday.
So this week or next week,
I
Bob?
think it's this week.
Okay,
UVA at 2 on the 9th. Tomorrow at 2.
well, tomorrow at 2, okay. Ooh, it's coming on, okay.
It's a ZBA meeting for.
Talk about the, what they can do for, okay, moving forward. Okay,
Hail insurance, I just made today, this afternoon, we
did you make
finally
any
got,
headway with that guy?
he's gonna put the siding on the damaged, storm damage. For what we had agreed with. What the insurance company has agreed with, which is
So did that save us some money?
$40,000.
Did he agree to accept that?
He's sending up a contract. I met with him today. I said, I need to know today what it's gonna cost to repair the storm damage only on this building. Well, we gotta do this, no. So that's what we came up.
Okay,
So he's sending up a contract.
and the insurance company will go for that?
Yeah, well, that's this, they set the money.
Okay. And what's the extra gonna cost us if we want to finish the rest of it?
Should be, unless he has a problem, like I don't know, he has to buy something extra that isn't spelled out. But I don't foresee that.
Okay, so how much is it to do the rest of the building? To match that if we have to? He's not giving you a
The
price.
difference between
What's covered by insurance and what's not?
what's covered by insurance is 40 grand.
And what about what's not covered if we
I
want to?
didn't even ask. He's gonna give us a separate contract.
Okay, that's
It
fine.
doesn't have anything to do with storm damage.
No, it
That's
should
our
be,
bill.
yeah, well, he should have never tried to combine them.
Right. But it looks better if you combine them. That's it's compared to 57,000. As compared to 40.
So to me, the end result is approximately, we might have to come out of pocket $17,000 to finish the rest of the building, non-storm damage to match the new stuff he's doing. Kind of,
Yes,
okay.
to make a long story short.
To make it look matching, yeah.
Well, if you do all this, this and this, and then you don't do the
Well,
It's gonna
style,
look, yeah.
All the red will be, except for front, the front will be a different color red than the rest. So you might have to touch that red up to match the steel. But the gray that's going on here, this one will be a different gray on this side, you don't see it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
the only part that'll matter is really in front of the fire hall. Okay,
But that's on two different planes and you might
Right.
not even notice it.
guess we'll get into it and see what it looks like.
So I'm gonna call him and say, okay, get your together and. We verbally agreed that that's what the thing was gonna be, and he's gonna have a contract up here for us.
Okay,
It's insurance money anyway.
So what I think I'm hearing is the insurance company refuses to pay for anything to make things look consistent.
That's true.
correct.
Anything that has storm damage, they cover. Anything else is on your bill. That's true with even homes around here. They'll replace light siding on one side. And that doesn't ever match. But they won't do the rest of the house.
No, because I was at 3 houses where they asked me to, and I said, well, I have nothing to say with this. I mean, they pulled siding down from the one side that was to try to match it, and none of it matches. They couldn't find matching
So
siding.
we've got $150,000 in damage.
Between the roof.
Between the roof and the manage and the splits and the windows and stuff.
Okay,
So we've come out of this with $150,000 plus we had a few other things too. We had a boat sink and that was another chunk of money, all insurance wise.
yeah. Look at your rates, I'm going.
Anyway, that's where we are with the hill.
Okay, over recycling, yep, you're still passing Carlo. Fire department, Rob,
I submitted the report. So, I don't see any questions. I don't have much to add to it.
no. We should talk about, getting something for, unless we don't wanna deal with Scott right now.
Well, I think
that's
you gotta make it,
Okay,
and I think we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, if he decides to reach it,
okay,
well, maybe that's what we should do.
okay. Zoning administrators report. It's in the
Didn't
pack.
I see that in the,
I did
I
not
know
see
it
a
came
re-
across. I don't know if
I
you got
did
it in
not.
the packet or not.
I did not see a
It's
zoning
very short.
administrator's
Only about
report in
4
the
or 5
packet.
things on it.
Well, they were here and talked about the, violations that we have, the open violations. Sounds like they're moving forward on all of them, or getting some kind of resolution. They're given more time probably than some people would think they should, but I think that's a fair thing to do.
Can you send that, to me, please, whoever has it, because I haven't seen it. It's not in the packet.
I think it was,
Bob can maybe do it. And Carol, just so you know, because while I'm sitting here, I talked to them about the shed
Mm-hmm.
next to your property, so they're dealing with that now. Those people did not get a permit. They told them it has to go. I think because it's within the setback of the. And now I guess people are trying to sell them. Okay, property and all,
They're selling everything and they're advertising that it would be an ideal location for, short-term rental.
right, so I gave that to the county to deal with it, the zoning administrator to deal with these people to tell them. No, they actually told them to move it out of there. They put a shed up, it's over here on, backside of the fairgrounds, kind of
Yeah,
dumped it off in the wetlands, kind of really, because it's wet there, it's not, it probably is a wetland. An Amish shed.
They're gonna make it a campground or something, or
Short-term rental,
well,
I mean,
I think the original plan was to use it as a family campground.
okay,
And I,
I don't know.
they're upset with that they didn't get permits, they just went ahead and did things, and now they're, feeling the repercussions of that. And so they've decided to sell the property,
Because it's not going their way.
it's not going their way. And they, but
Theme around
But
there,
where they, I don't know if they officially have it listed, they have it like on Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that, but.
okay. Anyway, so that's where that's at, because I just had a conversation with her yesterday about that,
Okay.
so she's the one who
And
brought
you
it.
said they have to remove it, or,
That's what they're striving to do, is get it out of there, it's not allowed, I mean,
okay,
you can't put a cabin, I mean, they'd have to get a building, there's a whole bunch of things they'd have to do.
okay,
Now, if it's just a shed, and you don't use it as anything other than a storage shed. I'm not so sure it's allowed on a vacant property without a
It's
house.
okay,
storage that vacant, it's gotta be on with a home.
okay.
So I just wanna let you, because you're here today, just that
but you can't use a storage as a vacation.
would think not.
That's in a.
Well,
Nah.
I wouldn't say, I'm not answering, I have no idea, better if I don't say anymore. Anyways, I just given you a heads up since you were here at the meeting, so
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Planning Commission, do we have anything on them? They got no meeting.
No, we did have a meeting, but really no action was taken. I think a lot of it you've already, heard me talk about before, but we talked about, reviewed ordinances, the accessory building ordinance, because of the disparity between agriculture and residential. Chris Forth is gonna look to other communities to see what types of things are in their ordinance, because one of the things we discussed is there are, in the ordinance, there are, for instance, 2 accessory buildings with X amount of square feet allowed, and talked about, well, why couldn't somebody combine that and do 1 building, since it's covering the same footprint? So we had a lot of discussion, but no action. So like I said, Chris is gonna look for examples. Dave Wallace is gonna talk with Jody Lynch on that. We reviewed the sign ordinance, and the reason we did that was when several of us went to the citizen planner, they were talking about the Supreme Court decision, and to make sure that you look at your sign ordinances, even though the Supreme Court decision was quite a while ago, or ruling, to make sure that your sign ordinances are not regulating content. So we did that, and we're fine there. And then looked at the ordinance regarding setbacks for fences because of the Huck situation, but really didn't see any language that was inconsistent with what happened there, so didn't take any action there. There was discussion about the standard use permit, or the special use permit, sorry about that, for Portage Point Inn. Dave Wallace had said that the special use permit is acknowledging that there are some things that are no longer active or being pursued there, and some things that are probably no longer appropriate. And so he was gonna contact Mr. Gazan to talk about those, and also explain to him that there are some things that are out of compliance and that we need to update them. So
Okay.
Dave has taken that on.
So when you guys get back into the discussion about pole barns, that gentleman on the south side of the lake put up, he went to get a variance to put up 1 pole barn that was twice the size of the 2 that were allowed. He got it, but he had to go through the variance process to get it, which,
But that's what raised,
right, that's what raised this whole thing, because he had a large chunk of property. The other thing that's weird is you can build a barndominium on residential and have the barn part of that building could be, 7 times what the living area of the house is, and that's allowed. So it's something to look at. We're getting more and more now. I think people are starting to build a few of those.
well, and I think because of that, that's why Chris wants to evaluate, look at other communities, and again, communities that are rural in nature and have some of the same types of land parcels that we would have, but also to talk to Jody Lynch also, and
Okay.
kind of bring that back. So like I said, no action was taken, but all those issues were discussed.
Okay. Anything else? Let's, roads. Nobody went to the road commission meeting today, right, Robert? No. You need to have somebody go to those now, and I don't know who can. I'll
I
go once in a while. I just don't want to go every month.
think I can go.
I can sub in here and there depending on when they are.
It's always,
It's on a Wednesday, same as the board,
is it
It's
the
in the
second
morning.
Wednesday?
Morning.
In the morning.
10 to 12 usually.
I-
It's 11:30, 11.
We could work something
Well,
out. I don't
either
mind
I can
going.
do it, or how about if I put a schedule together maybe? And
then
say,
And here's
we can
no.
sign up for it.
Yeah, sign up for it.
okay, I'll do that.
That would be fine, because
Let's see.
I think that's a very good thing. We just get more information. I don't know
If
what's the
nothing
best.
else, if you're there from the township, you don't have to say anything, you just sit there. They
Right.
know you're there. So your Onekama is in their thinking process when they start making
And
decisions.
Mr. Rochelle, I hear, passed away.
I heard that too.
Okay,
Christmas Eve. I
Christmas
was at
Eve.
the meeting today.
Oh, you were there. Okay.
Yeah, he passed Christmas Eve.
Oh,
And
that's
there's
right, I know how I heard that.
also, a gentleman who's gonna start a lawsuit, I believe it's Avenue A out at Portage Point, because they wanted to put a sewer on, or a septic on the,
Cook property.
Yeah,
yeah, it's actually a road right away or something,
It's the old platted road.
so.
So what, he was there?
He was there, yeah, trying to, and they're like, the road commission said no. And he said that he's, to go through the process to have that given back to the people in that plotted area. They would have to have basically permission from everybody who has a lot in that plotted area. And he said that's too complicated, so he's gonna, I believe, start a suit against the road commission.
I think Dan mentioned that at a previous meeting, or was that planning commission that you talked about that?
I think at this meeting I mentioned.
thought it was this one too.
that their septic permit had expired.
Yeah, that was different.
I don't know if it had or.
That's different than, I think, what Carl was saying.
Yeah.
But what Carla's talking about, we either talked about it at planning commission or here.
The
Go
permit,
here.
the permit and the permit is different than the location.
Correct.
They gave them a
Across the
permit to
road.
put it on that location, but they weren't aware that that location was a road right away.
Oh, they were absolutely.
So
That's not true, just so you know.
I'm just,
So 20-some years ago, before the guy bought the property, they came to me and asked if it was a buildable lot from the township's perspective. And at that time, I think all I said was it was a lot of record. Okay, Mr. Turner is the one that asked. Mr. Turner then went to the road commission about getting some easement to put a septic field across the street on that property.
well, the initial
Mr. Turner.
thing was to put a pipe underneath the road. That
No.
was,
Then it also says to put a field there. It was an exclusive agreement between Mr. Turner, I know, because I know Mr. Turner and Susan. And I sent him over there to do that 20-some, 30-year, whatever it is. He then got an exclusive thing. He went to sell it, they changed the exclusivity from him being that to go to the new purchaser, which was Mr. Cook,
mhm.
and agreed to all that. Mr. Cook then bought the property based on those assumptions given to him by the road commission on paper, not verbally, written down on paper.
And that was, he had documentation from, I believe, 2017.
Well, this goes back even further than
So,
that.
yeah, but I mean, he had.
So then he had it reaffirmed in 2017. Okay. So now he bought the property based on what they told him, and now they're saying, well, that's wrong. Okay, I'm not even gonna, I don't know, again, the argument if it's right or wrong. If that's the case, and they gave him bad information, and that guy spent $360,000 plus every dime he spent since then on taxes, based on that, now they're removing it,
And
to
he's
me,
building a house right now.
it's half done. They're responsible. As recently as 2 years ago, this was all okay. So now, I don't care if you say it's wrong, it's fine. If it's wrong, then somebody should pay for the mistake they made.
Yeah.
That's all I say. I'm not passing judgment on if what they said was right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just telling you, I'd sue too, probably. What
Yeah.
else you gonna do? Can't build a house and then not use it.
And the house is partially done now?
Half.
Yeah.
Well, not half.
And they have no place to put it, they have no place to
No
go.
sewer
with the
thing.
sewer.
Oh my God. Oh.
Well, no, because the road's not where it's supposed to be there. The road is supposed to be 34 feet, 30
There's
feet.
page 2 to this story.
Okay,
They have the road where it is by use, and they're trying to claim the road where it is by plat.
okay.
So the 40-foot or however wide the
It's
road
been there
is.
for 100 years.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't, probably, yeah, I don't even know how
And
long.
to make it right, you gotta go down the whole road all the way to the point.
If you wanna make it right, yeah, go and take down all the other encroachments in the road. So when you go out there next time, go down the channel, look back, and you'll see the road goes this way, and then it goes this way. That's all by use. This is where by plat.
Mhm. Totally different.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's other stuff in there. I mean, it's
Here,
gonna,
I guarantee it, there's a lot of it.
Open the big
I'm sure there's another septic field in there,
100%.
just down the road. I don't know, it's just gonna be a mess. We won't be involved from the standpoint is we have nothing to say with it.
They had said, originally the road was like in the 1880s. Not the platted road, but
The real, by
Actual.
use,
yes.
yeah. And they can't put a holding tank, I don't think, even though the septic code says no holding
But
tanks.
you can't put in his own digester.
Or he could put a holding tank in, cause I can take him to 2 cottages that they have actually okayed holding tanks.
Then you just, when it fills, they pump it
They
out.
pump it out, and that was done within the last 10 years, so it depends probably who you talk
He hasn't got any
to.
room
Yeah,
for it
well,
anyway.
then they brought up the width of where a septic, some type of septic would be in your water well. Would be too close together, so you couldn't. Yeah.
It's gonna be a mess anyways, but we'll be out, just so you know. Okay, so done with roads, can't fix that. We have to make a decision in our budget going forward on the roads to work on, but we'll work on that next month, right?
What's that?
The roads to, the road work we want to do.
Well, he gave you an option.
I know, we're gonna make a judgment or vote
We're
on that
gonna do
next.
that this month.
Are you happy to do that?
I'm ecstatic.
You wanna make?
Did we get the number formalized?
No, I don't think we got a final number. That's what I'm saying next month. He didn't give it. He didn't give us the final.
No, he didn't.
He had to rework those other numbers.
What you're talking about, the contract from him to us.
You're right.
We haven't got it.
Okay, then we can't act on it. Okay, that's all I'm asking. Make a decision. Okay, invasive species.
Really, nothing has happened since the last meeting here. The RFP has gone out. We're waiting for responses. We are accepting RFPs through January 17th. And then we will review those on the 20th and begin having interviews.
Okay.
So no different report than last month's
Same
board meeting report.
Could I make a quick?
You can.
As the chairman of the trails team.
Oh, yeah, you're not on the
Yeah,
agenda. How come?
I don't know, but I'm just gonna do something quick.
We're gonna add you on.
Yeah, put me in, still, I had spoken with Gordy Frazier's firm, just shortly before Christmas, then I took off for a while. Information back said the feasibility study was scheduled or slated for completion on today's date. I have not seen it yet.
Okay,
So we're kind of in a little bit of a holding pattern until that's done. But what I'm proposing to do is when we have our first actual meeting, you know, township and village, everybody coming together, I'd like to do, we're working with Vic, having that after the Parks and Rec meeting. So we have it here, we're gonna record everything. So
Okay.
everybody's out in the open and people wanna come, they can come to the meeting. And that would be on the 31st after the Parks and Rec.
I put it on the website.
Okay,
today,
awesome, thank you,
But
appreciate
I'll
it.
check, I gotta go back and check the actual physical board to make sure that there's no conflicts.
Okay.
And if there
Okay.
is, I'll just go ahead and put it on there.
Yeah, and then moving forward from then out, but a lot of that meeting will be determined whether we get this thing or not. So I didn't get it today, so I'm gonna
Okay.
check with them tomorrow.
are they gonna send it to you or to the township?
There's 3 people that they're.
Okay,
Ed and I.
Maybe?
correct.
Rick, yeah, and so. Once we get that, then I'll disseminate that out to all the
And the
people.
2 village appointments are,
Mickey Finan is one, and Susan Halloran, I believe is
Okay.
the other one.
okay.
Unless they've made changes that, so, cause I haven't talked with anyone there.
Are you putting anybody else on besides what you have, we do listed? Is there gonna be any other people from the public on there?
Other than,
There shouldn't be.
other than just the people that were on the.
On this,
Okay.
Yeah,
you had the only 2 you're missing is 2 in the village.
yeah,
And you
and I
got,
believe the village is all set now. That was prior to me leaving for a couple weeks, so I haven't talked to Wayne again or anything, so, but I'll
Okay.
check back in maybe tomorrow. I'll check with Gordy Frazier tomorrow and see how they're coming on. But that's just a real quick.
Okay. Well, now I still have to wait for Ed, so what if we take a 10-minute, not adjourn?
I'll make a
Or yeah,
motion to
don't
pay
adjourn.
bills.
Oh, make a motion to pay, okay, make a motion to pay all the bills. Is there a second for that?
Second that.
Second that?
The only thing to do-
Any discussion? None? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Public, we'll go right up here. Correspondence, I didn't have anything. Public comment. Well, I do it again, and if Ed gets here, we do this, we can have public comment again, but I thought, while everyone's still sitting there. Anybody?
Anybody of the public that's on Zoom wants to make public, you need to unmute yourself, please.
I have unmuted myself. It's Libby Schleifar speaking. I don't even know where to start. The contract with Gordy Frazier said that we would have the feasibility study 90 days after we signed the contract, which was in May. I would really like the township board to come up with a policy and procedures on how we do contracts and how we enforce them. I would also like the presentation that Gordon Frazier made on October 23rd, also put on the website. It was not there this morning when I looked. Vic, have you put it up since then?
No, that report was the report that was presented in a public forum a couple of months ago. And again, I just was hosting that meeting. The Trails team decided that they wanted to deal with the mixed input that they got. Some of the input said, well, why don't you just come up with a single plan and present that to the public? Other input said, no, put all the options out there. And so the Trails team was going to meet and discuss what's the best way to present this to the public. They never met on that subject because the Citizens Committee then created their own plan. And then that plan was, I think, presented to the Trails team. And I think it might have also been presented to the Gordy Frazier group. I'm sure it was. So that's what they dealt with, and they never ever dealt with how are we going to get public feedback? So they're waiting for the next meeting to actually decide how to go forward with that.
Well,
Everybody that's on the Trails team has been given a copy of that, including Joe, but it has not gone public, and that's up to the board and the Trails team. If they want that to go out there, since I work with the web, I can put it out there, but that's up to the board and the Trails team. I mean, originally the concept was, God, don't put all that out there. It's so confusing. Let's come up with a single plan. And that's what the Trails team was wrestling with. I don't want to speak for them, but that's why it's not out there.
okay, I am concerned that we paid $13,500 to this engineering group, and I can't find anything. There's the feasibility study isn't available. The presentation that they made on the 23rd of October isn't available. I just have, again, this will come
Just put it out
as a
there.
surprise,
I don't
a
care.
little bit about concern about transparency, and so if it's not out there, it's not out there, but that is that's my concern.
Okay,
The delay was because of the new
I know.
thing that came in.
Libby, let's say we have that tomorrow, the next day. We'll put that out from Gordy Frazier right away.
And I'm I will call them.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get home till midnight. That's
Okay.
right. So and I've looked in my email multiple times. But what he did tell me prior to me leaving was it was slated for completion on today's date.
So
Which I don't know if that means I should have it or if it could be
No.
completed and then it comes in a.
why
day or
don't you
two.
call him tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll call him tomorrow.
And if he doesn't respond,
Okay.
I'll call.
Dave
Okay.
and Matt, again,
Yes.
my issue is that the contract was signed and they're not upholding their end of the bargain, and that I have an issue with. And I got
Okay.
copies of the contract. I FOIA'd them. I would suggest you read them. I've got some concerns and I've expressed those concerns. And I appreciate that Matt, you taking this on. But read the contract before you read the feasibility final study, because they haven't done what we paid them to do. And that,
We paid them now in full, have we
yeah, we
not?
paid them in full. Yeah.
No. We have,
We paid 12,000, something like that. The total contract was like 14,800. So there's
Oh.
still a little bit left to be.
so it hasn't been paid in
13,500.
full.
13,500 according to the contract. If I don't know what we paid, 12,800. So that's anyway. That's
Okay, I got it.
fair. So again, Matt, I appreciate. you
Yeah,
taking
well,
the time.
here's what I'll do, I'll ask him what, and I think part of the delay was there was other input that came in that sort of changed what they were doing, and so it took them some time to reevaluate the new input.
Okay,
And,
well,
you know what I mean?
let's just,
But I'm gonna call him tomorrow.
if he doesn't have it here by tomorrow or Friday, let's just call Tom and take him to the Supreme Court. So,
We still owe him $1,000, maybe we,
well, we're gonna know more than that because they did extra work after that.
yeah.
They committed to no additional.
Oh, they haven't? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I thought
So
they were gonna.
That's,
Okay.
again, that's the most recent. I haven't had a conversation with Trail Team.
Yeah.
Okay, is there anything else, Libby?
yes, but that'll do it for now. Thank you.
Okay, well, it's
I
only your
will
last chance for.
actually, while I have my soapbox and said, since Ed isn't here yet,
He is here.
okay, then I will be quiet.
Okay, thank you.
For
Mr.
being
Bradford.
quiet,
I'm sorry?
for being quiet
No,
No, just talk that.
no, I'm talking to Ed. I'm sorry.
and kidding.
Turn that mute button on. Okay, Mr. Bradford, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So, since Carla's here and she's gotta leave, we wanna talk about this PA 69, and Mr. Dons brought up the fact that we need to act on this promptly, or it's gonna be removed. And Carla's here to talk about the same thing, so let's go there and then we can work our way backwards to some of these other things we just blew past. How about we do that?
And the only thing I'll add is I did bring up Tom Greer's opinion, but that was discounted. So, just saying,
The language is plain.
just saying, just bringing you up to date.
So you've had a contract for the property as long as there's recycling on it. That's what you had a contract for. You had a contract for having the recycling bins and everything that ran out on December 31st of 2024. So right now, you do not have a contract for recycling. If I leave without a contract, the bins will be pulled and the trailer will be removed. So nothing has really changed. It's still $18 per improved household per property unit. And you still would have, if you want to renew the contract, you would still have the recycling site that you guys agreed upon with the county and put your money into. So that's kind of where it's at.
So say that again, Carla. The county is okay with us leaving the bins there if we get a contract signed?
If you have a contract for recycling.
Okay, so respectfully, we haven't heard from Lisa, we haven't heard from Jeff. Well,
Jeff was here.
okay, what did Jeff say?
That's when I brought it up.
Okay.
Jeff basically says you have to proceed, and I'm like,
So, this is what I would ask. I think that the addendum that was signed, and our attorney agrees, and I wrote the addendum, and I know exactly what it said, and I worded it.
So
Hang on, no, let me just finish, please. We worded it exactly like it needed to be worded to give us some time on this. Cindy and I are gonna be working on a response to the contract that you folks wrote and said, here, sign this. We're not gonna agree to that. We'll agree to something, but it has to be agreeable to both parties. So we're gonna work on a draft addendum and we will get you something shortly.
I will tell you that the bins will be gone in the next
Okay,
2 weeks.
then we might have to get the attorney involved, or we just can the recycling, but I don't know how you can do that when Well, we could argue about it in court. We've got the assessment on the tax bills right now. You guys, we're collecting them. So we stop remitting them?
Like. So they're on the tax bills for 2025.
They're already due and payable. They're just the last day of
2025.
24. You pay the
24
taxes,
is
you pay the
over.
tax, well, yeah, but you
In
pay
arrears.
taxes in the rears always. You never pay up front.
Yep.
So that's
So
based
you're
on,
paying for last year. Not for 20, right now.
Well, it's, first of all, it's
It's
not
not
a tax, it's an assessment. And I don't know whether it's in arrears or in advance. That wasn't clear from the last contract that we signed. But what I'm telling you, Carla, is we want to work with you folks, but we're not going to agree to the
I have
contract as
been-
is.
I have been here 5 times this year in the last 6, 8 months. You keep saying the same thing. You have done nothing.
That is
Not
inaccurate.
true.
You've done nothing. Where's you every time, oh, we're gonna put something together. Nothing,
Sounds like-
nothing.
Sounds like the office with it sounds like there is some miscommunication with Lisa and Jeff and you. And I'm not sure what it is, but,
The addendum that you signed,
do you have the addendum with you?
no, I do not.
Okay.
The
And do we have-
addendum that was signed was for the use of the property for
Carla, it wasn't.
recycling.
Carla, that's not accurate. And that's,
Can we print that? Good.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
let's do that.
Do you have a key? I don't have my
I-
keys.
I think
I had a key with me that's for the dope.
I expressed to Jeff and Carla in your absence that you and I had already talked about meeting to try to get this all finalized to.
Can you send it to me and I'll print it? I don't know, I have a key to your office. I got a
Well,
key
we've
to the
been-
doors.
I've
I'm
been
looking
hearing
out
that
too.
same thing from
It's off.
the board for months. For months, I've been hearing the exact same
Carla,
thing.
there is a document that was done in between when you first came here, and
I've been coming here for years. So it's not since I first came here. So once the bins are gone and the phones start ringing, they'll be given Onekama Township's phone number to let you guys explain why there's no longer recycling in Onekama.
Yes, I do. When we keep.
We could send it.
Section 4, Carla, maybe you haven't read this, I think, maybe we don't understand this the same, says. The parties acknowledge that the existing interlocal agreement will remain in full force and effect once the addendum is executed, until such time as permanent site is located and/or a new interlocal agreement is entered into. What is that?
And that's what we're trying to do, is because you don't have an interlocal agreement for recycling. You do not have one.
Yes, we do, the one that expired on 12/31/2024. That's what this extends.
They extended it. It doesn't let
So
it.
what's the date on that?
This was signed by Jeff Dons on July
What is
25th,
the date,
24.
the expiration date?
It's not, it remains in full force and effect until a new interlocal agreement can be negotiated or a permanent site can be found. That's what it says.
There you go, a permanent site can be
So,
found.
so Carla,
That's for a location. That is for a
the
location.
interlocal agreement, which addresses all of this, is in full force and effect.
No,
Okay, well, I don't know where you're getting your legal advice, but, this is pretty clear. But let me go forward. The thought was, we will,
you are
We will
going
have
to use a site.
yeah, I'm done.
Okay,
Carla, apparently, obviously, there's a disconnect because everyone's looking at this 2 different ways. So,
the county is looking at it from the viewpoint that that is for the location, period.
that's not what the agreement says. Would you agree to that or no? You don't?
It,
Okay,
it says right there for the site.
Go back to the beginning line, maybe she can,
I have to find it already.
okay, or print it out.
I think to hammer it, and I mean, I felt this earlier, neither Jeff nor Carla agrees with our legal counsel's position.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, and so it's determining how we move forward. To keep arguing that point here is not productive.
Onekama, you guys have said over and over, we will put something together and bring it to you. That's been going on for months. And you have done nothing. So,
Okay,
okay, thank you.
thanks. I don't know what to do then, so you guys need to,
We were gonna meet regardless
Well,
of what
what she
happened
said is
tonight.
if
I
they,
think.
they've solved the problem, because if they're willing to let us use that site, then we can mark up that agreement again. That was the whole concern, is we were gonna see if
That's what we were
maybe
gonna ask
even
about.
offer to rent it. or
That's what we, remember we talked about that potential, like a rental of the, or a payment fee of.
so what are you gonna do?
Well, I think, well, at 9, we're gonna meet to put the
Yeah,
proposal
I
together.
think you need to
with
have
the
some
agreement.
words with Mr. Dons, and
He basically said the same, to me, he basically said the same thing as what Carlos said. Would you agree, Chuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jeff would not have a discussion or agree with the fact that that amendment extended the interlocal agreement. He was taking the same position Carla did, that we have no interlocal agreement and therefore everything will be removed. So I mean, I don't know. I think it's unfortunate that tonight turned into kind of a threatening kind of situation, but I think we need to proceed with talking about it and putting together whatever we're going to and move forward.
that was the plan after the holidays.
No, I understand, and I tried expressing that tonight.
You can't print that, can you?
When I run back out, I think the keys might be in my car, I can print it, but unless you want me to do it right now. Carry left, so.
Yeah, well. I think everyone should have a copy of it so they understand really what we're talking about, what you guys are gonna talk about, so. Gonna take a minute and do that? Or no, do you wanna do it after the meeting?
Well, the agreement that the county sent us isn't the one that was signed. It was a new agreement, which needs some adjusting, I think. And then, you know, but once both parties agree to it, then we can sign it. If the board.
Did they ask us for it? Did they propose $100 a month or something as a rental fee or? anything?
No.
Okay.
No, and part of the other concern until tonight, there was not direct communication that they disagree that the interlocal agreement has been terminated. We had written Lisa about that, never received a response that I'm aware of.
I never got anything.
So I would have assumed we were good until Ed and I met. And
And it's not like that location is,
It really has nothing to do with the location.
but it's not being utilized for something
Well, it
else.
does.
Well, it does, but
If they pull the trailers out, which they'll do tomorrow morning probably, they'll pull that stuff out of there. So we've invested X amount of money to approve that lot for nothing.
well, I think what I heard Carla say, and I think what I heard Carla just say is in a few weeks. I think what I heard Jeff say is
sooner the
just
better.
do it expeditiously. I think,
And she's angry enough, I think she'd probably make a phone call and have Ben's pulled out tomorrow. But on the other hand, she cut her own throat because they need that now for the grant writing. That's part of the grant writing.
Well, what about the point about the money we're collecting right now? What
That's
time
not
frame
a
is
full
that?
ballgame.
Yeah, What is that for? When did that, is that for last year's bill? And,
I don't know whether it's in arrears or in advance. It doesn't say in the interlocal agreement.
right,
Oh, you'd have to
I have
look
no
at it.
I was guessing it was in the rears and it might not be.
It might be in advance.
Well, it appears on your property tax bill, because when I got my new property tax bill.
Oh, yeah.
Something about recycling.
No, it's right on there.
It's
But I don't know if that's arrears or the,
Well, she said it was in arrears, so the tax that you're paying, this is the 24 taxes. In her mind is for the.
For now.
Calendar 24.
Again, I think what I heard is one of you two talked about taxes being, I think you did, Dave, about taxes being in the rears, which I know many communities and ours probably treat it that way, but an assessment, I do believe, can be treated differently, and I don't know if the assessment moves forward or is
See, and I don't
in
know that.
arrears. I don't know the
It's a
answer.
good-
I just don't remember, but
Every other tax is collected a year later, because this value, the value is set. This is an assessment, which is different than the tax.
Well, but it's also different than the fiscal year of the county and the fiscal year of the township, they're all different. So
Yes, I agree, so I don't know what that
did you
is.
talk to Jeff maybe and just say, hey, we need it for sure?
I guess
in 2
that's what I
weeks?
want to do, is just cut through
We need
all
2
of what we're
weeks
talking
to
about
figure
right
it out.
now. I mean, so who,
Does everybody have a copy of the new agreement they sent?
we can resend it around, spend a
It
little.
might have been in,
It was in a board packet.
in a
I remember
board
reading it.
at one time.
Okay, maybe we should send that around to everybody and the addendum.
so here's
So
my
it's fresh.
question. Who, is Carla a separate entity on her own, or is her reporting mechanism the commission? The county commission, does anybody know?
Or the green team, I don't know those reports.
I think she answers to Jeff. I think.
I'm just trying to figure out.
Lisa, isn't it? She answers to, she's involved in it.
Well, the county administrator, but she's asking, who
She's
does
all-
Carla actually work for?
Well,
I would
the point I'm
assume
trying
the
to get
county.
to is we need to communicate with somebody to get the anger out of it. To get it brought back down to a reasonable level, and I'm just trying to get to who is that person? Conversation needs to be held with. Is it Jeff?
Jeff, be my guess. He says the king later.
So if
But he
Jeff,
came here and gave the report about it, so.
well, but he's doing it as county commissioner, giving a whole broad thing, that's all.
Oh, okay.
So if Jeff's the person, I think he needs to be communicated with. Bring the level down.
Yeah.
And who wants to communicate with them?
Recycling
Dave,
should
do you
be-
want to communicate?
I'm fine, that's fine with me. No, I'm fine, I talk to him all the time, so.
I think if we could figure something out in the next couple of weeks. then-
Well, you'd have to do it quicker than that, according to them.
Well, I think we need to figure that out, but I think, and Ed, you're probably available to meet in the next week or so, or 2 weeks, right? So,
I'd get Jeff on the phone and say, Jeff, can we meet?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
We're at
I
an
can do it
impasse.
anytime.
The immediate. Let's hit the pause button. Step one. Step two is we're gonna commit to have you, our draft or our comments back on your draft agreement by such and such a date. Date certain, then they know they're gonna get something.
that's the point I was trying to get to.
Okay, so are you two gonna work on that, put something together and give it to the board, or what do you wanna do?
I think 90% of that problem is solved when she said you can keep the bins there as long as you have an agreement. So
Okay.
Then I think
Because
it's,
that was one of the solutions he and I were talking about.
right, so I don't think it's a big markup on that. But it's been a while since I've read it. so.
Okay. All right, let's resend everything back. I'll call Joe. See if I can stall him for whatever.
Sounds like I better get my cardboard over.
Yeah, if I was you,
Take your stuff.
I'd go move it tonight.
Good night.
Sorry.
Yeah. Bring your stuff
In
tonight.
fact, come over to my house and grab ours, 'cause. No, it's just so, okay.
I think.
Yeah, cause she's too angry,
Yeah.
right? I
Or
mean,
something.
I'll chain myself to a bin.
Ooh, there you go, yeah.
Here we go with the trees again.
it is trees
Maybe
indirectly.
go in the bin where it'd be a little warmer, less wind.
Sounds dangerous.
Okay, can we go back up? So we got recycling, we already did that. Clerk, okay, we left all the stuff, financial reports, we didn't go over any of them.
Yeah, okay, the reports themselves are self-explanatory. I did put a budget amendment in there. Did you guys do that?
No, we did not, we
we
wanted,
haven't.
thought we'd explain it better if you were here, so we let that go.
All right.
So I think the budget amendment, your document was really self-explanatory. And I think it's also in line with what our audit said, is just making sure that we do budget amendments so that.
This was an adjustment,
expenditures-
isn't it? Is that what you're talking about? Budget amendment? Adjustment?
It's amending line items in the budget so that they can,
Yeah,
Not
you
just
do
the
this,
receipt of the money for the grant.
yeah, you do this often throughout the year.
yeah, so for example, one of them was, and you don't have to budget revenue. You don't have to do budget amendments technically for revenue, but it's good practice, especially if they're big. So we got one Michigan Health Endowment grant and the reimbursement from insurance, that we didn't have in the budget originally. So that's like $231,000 of funds we hadn't anticipated. So I proposed a budget amendment to increase those revenue line items. And then on buildings and grounds, we spent money. That's where the expenses have been for the hail damage. And obviously that would put that budget over in case, unless we did a budget amendment. So that's what we proposed there. There'll be more. I noticed some other ones, but I didn't have time to dig into them. I think there are some adjustments that need to be done where expenses got coded before we can actually do that, but that's why I had that in there. So I don't know if we need to have a motion.
We need to have a motion, so what are you presenting? Go ahead.
I'll make a motion. We adopt the budget amendments as presented.
I'll support that.
Okay. Any discussion? None being heard, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None, that it would be carried. We got clerk's salary resolution.
Yeah,
Matt, your thing is being stopped.
So we're talking about this because originally we put extra money in the salary to cover, is that what you're?
So I had written an email probably a week or so ago, and I think that's what it's about. Maybe I was thinking of it on this one too, but we have talked for several weeks about the difference between statutory duties and then additional duties. And we had talked about doing it for all positions prior to the election. And we did not do that. And once people are elected, you can't change the compensation downward relative to that. But since we did not have the clerk, I was raising the question, do we want to pursue that or not? And I don't know if Ed had it there for a reason other than.
It was your email that prompted us for that.
statutory duties for the clerk are state statutory duties.
Correct, but
They're printed,
no, I understand, but
but you don't need to readdress it.
We need to address the salary if you're gonna add, well, let's say let's say statutorily you do this.
If she's doing part of my job, which she is, and so is Ed, those are two statutory things that are the clerk's responsibility that they're doing.
no, but so this whole discussion started, actually it started,
Started with Shelley.
well, I became involved with it with Amber, and that started with the whole FOIA coordinator. And, we had a meeting. I think you were there, I was there. I don't think Ed and, Dave were there, but we were trying to determine what,
How much time everything was taking,
right.
what
Because-
what are the duties you're working on, why would we
Right.
need extra help?
But
Blah,
because
blah, blah.
you and Ed and others had said that the evolution of the compensation was because of the additional duties being absorbed. And even though that was the intent, the law basically states that whatever that compensation is, the person only has to do the statutory duties.
That's correct.
And so that's why we were talking about compensation resolution to segregate that. And we never did anything about it. So I was raising the question, is that something we want to address before we appoint a new clerk? And two, is the timing such that we still can do that prior to appointing a new clerk? Which would be an MTA question. I mean, my interpretation of the law is we could do
Yeah,
that.
you can do a planning. Yeah, can't vote on anything.
No, I don't know. I don't, to answer what she just said, I called MTA to ask that. Well, they're out of the office today and yesterday. So
Okay.
I don't know if you can either be, here's why. So we have a clerk, even though it's appointed, right, today. Effectively, you're gonna change the salary. Does that mean you change it because he's sitting there? If you, let's say lowered it,
Before the person moving forward.
so you'd have to do it in the day that he resigned before you appointed a new
The
clerk,
resolution would be for a future clerk.
correct?
Yeah, for the future court, yeah.
And you should have to spell, and I think unfortunately this is gonna take a while to spell out. Once we know what the statutory duties are, what are the extra duties that the clerk is doing right now? We allocated more money because of elections.
We had a spreadsheet that we prepared.
And one of the problems there is, and this hasn't been an issue for years, because as different board members were elected and had different skill sets and said, and had different interests and wanted to do different things, those workflows clearly ebbed and flowed as to what people were doing, right? So that was never really much of an issue. It only became an issue when somebody who was getting paid X and doing A through Z now said, I'm only gonna do A through F. I'm not gonna do any of this other stuff. So do we need to address it? You can address it, and I have examples of split salary resolutions. I have some emails from Catherine regarding this, and I think we can do it because there's not, the person that's taking that office, they know what they're getting into. It's not like I ran for election, the salary was X, and now you're cutting it in half. That's what they're trying to avoid. This is, I'm applying for this job, here's what the salary is, and you can decide whether you want it or not. That's how I would interpret it too, and I believe that's what MTA has said and some of the stuff that they sent me, but, you know, if we need to confirm that again, we ought to do that. I don't know if it's necessary or not. It's something that we do need to think about and make clear, because you certainly can't have a person take that position and say, I'm doing nothing except the statutory duty, sorry. Go pound sand, nothing you can do about it. So that's the concern.
Sure would like the new clerk to be the FOIA director too.
But that would be something, if you had a split salary
That's
resolution,
something.
that you would have that in there.
Should be doing minutes and doing the Bean County that is responsible for the clerk to do. Because they took that on as a favor more than anything else, and that's taking the statutory duty away from your new clerk. And that's illegal.
Well, it's not illegal because you can farm out all of the accounting. The clerk still has to overlook it.
Overlook it, but you could have
You
someone
can
else do the
absolutely
work.
have a third party do that. And, the budget is not a clerk statutory duty, that's a supervisor statutory duty, so they don't have to have any
The agenda.
hands-on on that if that's what the board decides. And the agendas is not the clerk's responsibility, that's the supervisor's responsibility. So I've been doing the agendas and I can do that. If that's what the board wants. Not that I would want to continue to do that, but again, to get through this time, we can do that. So there's been a lot of things that, and it's not just Onekama Township, that township clerks do that kind of become part of that job, even though they're really
Even though they're not
somebody
statutory,
else's
yeah, I know.
or they're.
It's like the
different
catch-all
statutory.
position you end up.
It kind of is, yeah. And part of the problem is, way back when they changed the law, there used to be more statutory duties on the treasurer. This has been 30, 40 years ago, and then there must have been something that happened, and they switched stuff to the clerk. I think they have more segregation of duties. But it really if you look at the list of duties, there's a lot more that are on the clerk. I don't know if it means they have more workload. There's just more things that they're kind of responsible for. And that's just how it's kind of worked out. And then with this election thing, which has caused a lot more effort,
Oh,
It's not just here.
Yeah, but it's,
I think most townships actually paid more money to the clerks on this election thing, even from last time, 2 years ago, to compensate them for the extra time involved.
They had,
Well, that would even be an interesting resolution,
what
because
the
I
new
thought about
thing
that
was
too.
early voting.
I don't even know how you
It
address
cost the
that.
county almost 17 grand just in salaries for early voting.
But that's all reimbursed by the state. They're doing it right.
Okay, so
So the
going
question
forward,
is,
yes.
we almost need like a cafeteria plan. The clerk, here's your things, would you like to do these? I don't know.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean, the issue is, do we want to discuss that? And it would seem to me, it would make sense to at least have the discussion. I don't know if we want to have it at a committee level that we had, I think, already established. To do that, or maybe it was a special meeting we did. That's probably what we did, is we did a special.
But the new clerk is not gonna be trained, you know that, so we're right back into. Right back where you are right now, for at least a year before that new clerk finally gets a hold.
Well, you might get a person to apply that's been a clerk somewhere.
Good luck,
Okay.
but that's a possibility, I'm saying, that's a possibility, you get somebody that you have to train, because there's no school until you get into this job that you can go to.
Oh,
And the clerk is from the township,
has to live in the
You
township.
have to live in the township.
so it limits your pool of people that might have been a clerk.
Mhm.
So going back to my
And-
question.
Yeah, when are you gonna meet then? I don't know. You gotta pick a day.
Again, if I leave, then so does your,
Well, you're not leaving, Bob. I'd have to appoint somebody else then.
if I leave, then the deputy clerk leaves, now you're really, you know, blind.
No, I just appoint somebody else, temporary clerk.
You got a dog in your pocket?
I know somebody.
You
When
know,
do you wanna meet? You wanna do this 2 people? It can't be 3, you got a quorum. It either have to be 2 people or the entire board
what for
to
duties?
discuss this any further.
Oh,
Come up with some ideas.
Well, we wouldn't appoint anybody before the next board meeting, so we could have 2 people do it and bring it to the board next month.
Well, you're gonna
If-
have to
if-
bring it before that if you're gonna act on it, cause you're gonna interview people. They're gonna wanna know what the job pays, right?
Oh, wait a minute, that's right, our next board meeting is after. the
well, you know, I got.
Sorry.
So the applications are due the 24th. We haven't scheduled, well, unless you guys talked about it while I was not
We
here.
did not.
No.
So we haven't scheduled that, that's part of what we need to decide too, is what that looks like. And that all ties in with this budget calendar kind of too.
Okay. So, did you put out there that they should be here by what time frame?
5 PM on the 24th.
It's a Friday.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't think you're gonna have a lot to review. I really don't, I'm serious. The way it's written, you know, scares the daylights out of anybody. Vic, you wanna be clear?
That's why he's leaving.
Hi, Beck. Wow, I snuck right out of here. Okay, so do you guys wanna meet? What do you want, Ed? What do you think? What are we doing to do here?
Well,
You two wanna talk
we
about it?
haven't, we haven't. As part of the job advertising posted what the salary is, it's public knowledge.
Yeah, right now it's public knowledge. They can just,
Everybody knows
you're right.
what it is. I think we should, when we talk about the hiring process, we need to figure out how long we're gonna review the resumes, when we're gonna do the interviews, and then work backwards from that and figure out this other thing.
Okay, so you wanted to talk about that. So my idea is you have to appoint somebody by February 14th. At the latest. That's 45 days.
And our February 12th is our regular board meeting.
So I would assume we'll do it at the 12th. So if these things are due by the 24th of January, you have the next week. I got 2 weeks to have set up interviews. Is that correct?
Oh, I guess I've got a question. If we just appointed Bob as clerk tonight, why do we have a 45-day window? Because the seat's not vacant.
You don't have to, the position's filled.
Oh, cause he's not staying.
Well, but I'm just saying.
I mean, okay, yeah, you
but
could have
the
been longer.
45-day
Okay, could be
window-
long. Well, let's make it July. Bob, you wanna stay till
No.
July?
No, I'm
I
not.
mean, but, no, I get your point. You're right. You have 45 days, but I had
That's
to.
exactly where I'm coming from. You can put this off till as long as you want.
We would have had to have appointed him within 45 days, because there's now a vacancy.
Correct.
Right. But now that we've got a
But
clerk
that's
in
why
there.
when
So
said
you could
45
stretch that out a little bit if you wanted to make
Would you
it.
say yes?
So my-
Say it.
No, but my only point is we don't have to work backwards, let's work forward now. So the 24th, we will have
Applications.
applications.
Yeah.
How long do we feel we need to review them? I know for me, I don't need more than 2 or 3 days to review them.
So that next week,
I don't think you're gonna have a whole lot.
But even if we do. I
well,
mean,
let's say you got the 27th, the 28th, the 29th. There's 4 days, the 30th. And then you're gonna schedule interviews. You got 31st, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. You got all that time.
Yeah,
We can do
it's gotta be,
interviews.
there'll be public interviews, so you gotta just post them as well.
Yeah.
You can do an interview and have.
So it would seem
Yeah, we don't know what the potential applicant schedules are like too. We gotta.
Work within that.
And if we get more than one applicant or two.
we should be able to schedule interviews either the last few days of January
For the first
or
week.
going into that following week in February.
That's correct.
And then hopefully you would be able to make a decision on somebody.
Yeah, but it eliminates that 45-day deal because Bob's already been in here, so you're correct. So you wouldn't be
Yeah,
rushing
but,
into
but you
that.
might still be within the 45 days
You
as
might.
long as the person's available.
45 days and even though, you don't even have to think.
And
about it.
hopefully Bob could stay on a little bit for a transition, you know, you just a week or two even.
Yeah, I'll come in and have coffee.
Yeah, the only reason we had to have Bob is they had to have a deputy, but otherwise she'd have been gone,
I understand.
so. Okay.
Why don't you just put a date then, with the last week of January you're gonna interview?
No, we'll do it the 3rd through the 7th of February.
Just give 2 days for interviews. You don't need, if you had 10 people.
No, but it
half
depends
an hour
what the
each,
person,
you'd be out.
Well, the
Depends on
other
the-
person may not.
what
be
if their
available.
schedule, maybe they can't make that day, that's all. I'm not doing it, you're gonna have that many
For a job,
people.
you can make the date. You give them 2 or 3 days to do it.
Well, we can sort that out. We need to be a little flexible if they have scheduling conflicts. But I think that works.
Well, that's something that you should be able to tell these people that are, well, you're gonna interview. You should
Okay,
be-
getting back to this, the work and what's statutory, what's not, and the salary thing. So when do you want to meet to talk about that as a group of 2 or whatever you're gonna do to report back to the board? That's gonna have to be before the end of this month. It should be.
Well, it's statutory or spelled out by the state.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I'm talking about
You're
this
talking
other
about
stuff
the
that if you're gonna.
It's about the compensation in relation.
The
to
extra duties.
Yes.
We just don't spell out, we never have, people just taking on more duties over the years, so they got reimbursed for it, or their salaries went up, whatever you wanna call it. But you were never accountable, you just did the stuff,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
When you work at the school,
it's the same thing, any job.
Yeah.
It morphs into something else.
and if the board doesn't want to do that, then fine, then just be aware that you could end up hiring somebody being compensated based on a current resolution that may take the same position that they're not gonna do. They're not gonna hold out the office hours, or they're not going to do the FOIA coordinator or whatever.
And I think you could spell out, and could you not spell out that the salary is based on doing those statutory duties and these duties? And
You gotta
that's the
separate
salary?
it.
They're 2
Gotta
separate.
separate.
resolutions.
2 separate resolutions, okay. So if they decided not to, because you can't make them do it, they'd have to want to be able to do the stuff that's not statutory,
And if
okay?
they agree to it, there's a another little compensation package that goes along, then yes, they do it.
Okay. Well, I still think the clerk should be doing the FOIA thing, cause it's redundant in a way. The stuff comes in to me. That I have to figure out, and I just give it to the, well, 90% of it's the clerk, it goes to the clerk. I look up anyways,
Yeah.
so that's why the clerk's kind of always dealt with it.
And maybe that's what we, here's the statutory things you have to do. Here are some other duties described by the board, which we would like the clerk to do, and here's the compensation package.
Here's your choice.
Yeah, and that compensation package could be $1, could be whatever, and then if they say, oh, I would like this job, I will agree to both, then they have to. But
Then
if
there's no problem.
right, but if they say, well, I agree to this, I'm not agreeing to that, then there's maybe a negotiation process if that's the person you want, and they say, well, I'd like $10, and you say, okay, pay you 10, and I think the problem would be solved. I think you just have to spell it out and make sure that applicants that would like to be in contention for the clerk job know that up front. So they see, here's the state requirements, here's the salary, here's some other duties described by the board that would like to be done by the clerk. Here's the compensation package for that additional duty or duty. I think that would work.
What happens if they don't? Can I speak?
Yeah.
What happens if that person says, no, I'm not gonna do them 10 other things, I'm only gonna do this? Which one are you gonna pick all that up?
Right. Well, and that's why we're hoping to interview a few people that we have.
I mean, then you run into.
Well, you either,
Well, that's what has happened.
yeah, you either then hire somebody else to do it, somebody just takes it on and says, yeah, I'll do it. You compensate that person more, I mean, there's different ways to skin that cat, I
So then
guess.
you guys would be compensated.
If you wanted to be the
Maybe not.
FOIA director now, we could change it up, Rob, and I can make you the FOIA director, you could get my salary for that.
I hear what you said.
Yeah, it's a good thing to say.
This,
I mean, I'd be glad to give that up.
he's got his pen out ready to go right now.
No, that's seriously the greatest. Like,
No, he was just saying he would give you the job of FOIA director.
oh, we should.
With all the perks.
All the perks and benefits and the pay.
But have those dropped off now, Dave? How many have we been?
Yeah, we got one on Monday. It's, I don't think that, that's just a thing that happens year round. I mean, really, it depends what somebody's looking for.
Yeah.
Well, it's not any different in the city. City gets FOIAs.
We get less FOIAs than we
There's
do at the
nobody
township.
that gets.
You
that.
do?
Oh, yes.
No, I actually called, I think I talked about that. I called 4 different townships and I called the city when all of that first came up, and we by far have,
What are you doing wrong, supervisor?
Here's what I think the part of the FOIA deal is a problem from this standpoint. Everyone, not everyone. So you look at government and they say, okay, I want this particular, whatever, just say whatever it is, okay? And they do a FOIA request to the township and it comes in and it says, I want these records from 1930, blah, 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 blah. Okay. We look for them. We don't have them. Okay. I don't have to, the township doesn't have to somehow come up with them if they don't have them. They don't have to, if they don't have them in their records, you have to just tell the person, we don't have that. People are not satisfied with that answer. So then they write another FOIA thinking that you're not giving them something or you're trying to hide something when in fact, there just is no record of it. I mean,
Like where the road was in 1880, yeah, how do you know?
where is it? I don't know. It was over there. We don't have a record of it. Property descriptions or stuff to do with properties. The township never does legal descriptions, right? Those are given to the township on your property that is provided to the township and then they base an assessment on that. But we didn't write or come up with all these legal descriptions. So you get the discrepancy with someone saying, well, that's wrong, give me the right one. Well, we didn't do it to begin with. How do you blame? So I'm getting more of that, I think, that, and just people are looking for something that maybe doesn't exist or you don't have it. Or a plat amendment. We don't do plat amendments. The township doesn't do them. That's done in a court system. Well, I got asking for one. I don't have it. We didn't do it here. So the answer is gonna be to the person, No, we didn't do that, and they are not gonna be satisfied with that answer, I already know that. But I don't know what else to do, that's where you get in you can't give the person. And Dan's written FOIA requests before, you have to be pretty specific, and sometimes you miss something. Then the person that wrote it thinks you're trying to evade them, when in fact you're not, you're trying to get exactly what that person.
Really, I mean, I'll give you like an anecdote, not the township, but I wanted, for my septic drain fields, like, oh, it'd be a good idea just to have a record. of
Where it was. I get
Yeah,
it.
just that it was all signed off on, it was all done, so I didn't have it.
And
Well, so I went to the health department knowing that they've got a file drawer like right there. Could
Yeah.
you just, well, no, you gotta fill out a FOIA. Okay, I'll go through the process. That's fine. And so to be helpful, I said, the original application, 2015 something, right? Came back. Well, we have no such record. I said, you don't have a record for well, the way I asked the question.
was specific
And
to,
the health department, they do have a FOIA coordinator. And it's like, yeah, okay, just tell me, what do I need to write here
they won't do that.
And in person, I mean, they're
You think-
much more cooperative. It's like, oh yeah, we can get that for you. Okay, well, thank you.
And that's why when I get these, I'd rather call the person and say, tell me exactly, what am I missing here? Because what I'm gonna give you, I don't think is what you want, and then you can usually work through it.
Yeah.
And it's easy to do, but,
Communication.
yeah, I know.
It's
So,
really-
and it's not a bad job, the clerk should do it, so I think that's one thing that should be mentioned. I mean, I don't mind doing the stupid thing, but it just ends up being redundant.
But it's not a statutory duty, so that requires us to have the split salary resolution, which we can do.
There's only a couple things in there that I think we need to split.
If you look at the chart,
No,
the chart that we submitted, there were quite a few
Thanks.
additional duties.
okay,
But there's some of that I don't think necessarily have to belong in the clerk's office. We could probably
Okay.
lean that down a little bit, but anyway.
so pick a day where you guys can meet or something.
Who's reading, like Cindy and
I
I?
guess.
Well, we gotta meet on the garbage thing or the recycling.
Can you do this all, the recycle, it's not garbage.
Gonna see if we can try to deal with the resolution too, or whether we should have one.
Yeah, let's do it at the same time.
Do it at the same time, so pick a day.
We'll figure it out after the meeting, because it'll just be the two of us, so it's not.
It's not a public, and it's not a quorum, and no one else show up, okay?
No, and then we need a special meeting
Either a special meeting
to
before,
deal with it once.
Yeah, unless we just do it in February 12th and we don't, well, we have to probably do it before the interview so we can let them know, so we can schedule that later.
after you figure that day, give me the next day, okay? Anything else?
Well, there's a couple of things on the agenda, so we've got, I had my treasurer's report, I think that was self-explanatory, the financials, or any questions on the financial.
Right? No, none.
So we've got the Onekama Township holidays.
Yeah, we already did that.
Already did that, okay, perfect. What else was on that?
Budget amendment, we did
Calendar.
just now, because we held on that.
Approve the budget calendar, we did that.
Okay, so everybody was okay with that, those
Yeah.
dates then?
Recycling, we took care of that one, right?
Well, not really, but
We took care of that one.
that's it. There was
That's it.
nothing else. And we paid the Manistee County bill for the assessments.
11,000 something, I think.
Page billing.
You guys got Molly's stuff, yeah?
Molly has already,
We approved those resolutions.
Oh, sorry, did we resolve the recording secretary thing?
she's gonna stay for planning only. So we need to find, Vic's gonna try, what did he say that?
AI,
AI thing.
yeah, I mean, we'll have the recording. I still think, and I think that's required that somebody takes contemporaneous
Minutes?
notes at a minimum in case, what if the recording doesn't work?
Oh,
Well, I thought what we had said is that we would look at whatever agreement we have right now, because I was at loss, because I didn't know how it was initiated, what kind of an agreement we had or whatever, but I thought we had talked about actually posting that also.
Right. Could absolutely do that.
Well,
no, let's see if I think you're right.
yeah, I've got that one.
And if we use the owl and all that, wouldn't it be, it still would be recorded? Okay, so then
Well, but as-
worst case,
what
if it,
happens if the recording doesn't.
Yeah, like Shelley didn't hit a button or there was a glitch or God knows what happened.
So you're
we
doing the whole
couldn't figure
meeting,
it
it
out,
wasn't,
And it wasn't a recording.
oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and I couldn't find it. She thought maybe she recorded it.
And you can't
locally.
get, you can't go look at it later if it doesn't
If it
record.
doesn't record, it doesn't record.
Okay.
You don't think AI would do that, though? AI won't make a mistake.
AI just transcribes it,
Okay.
but yeah, not sure what that looks like. I think there's different solutions to that.
It's like how when you get a voicemail now, it automatically transcribes what the person says.
I personally think we should just post it based on whatever contract we have and see if,
See if there's anybody else.
because unfortunate with, at least with the board, you have a clerk that is consistent, that takes minutes. But when you're on these other committees,
Yeah,
you may have changes and whatever, and it's
all
just a
different.
little concerning.
So do we want to write up a job description, put it on our website and post it for the same amount of money that we're paying Michelle?
Well, Vic brought up the fact that the amount is for up to 90 minutes and then there's so much after that.
That was what Michelle wanted. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I mean, and I guess if we post that and we find somebody, that means that Michelle doesn't do the planning commission anymore? Or are we gonna keep her for planning commission?
I guess you could make that determination once you find somebody else. I mean, well, if that person came out and said, hey, I prefer to do it all, I guess.
And do you think what the arrangement that we have with her is okay to post for that? We can
I
kind of
think
rough
so.
out, yeah.
I mean, I can't believe we're gonna have a ton of people applying for that job either.
I don't know. If they're retiring, they got a flexible schedule, a
yeah.
little supplemental money.
And maybe Michelle knows a couple people that,
Dan, you got time? Are you a good minute taker?
No. You look like a minister.
Well, I'm just trying to give you a little,
Look at my minute. The straw.
you got good handwriting. I've seen your handwriting. I can't take minutes, so.
But
Okay,
if you post that,
You might get some.
huh?
you might.
No, I'm just saying, don't make it too demanding. Cause part of I think Bob alluded to it with the clerk, it's like, geez, like we need 10 years of experience. That could be hard to find.
That was preferred. not
Oh, okay, well,
None of that's required.
okay, true. I mean, that'd be,
Yeah, the language I think said the ideal
dream.
candidate would have, but
Yeah, but how do you
I
read
think
that?
some people,
yeah.
well,
It's how you read it, not what it
No, I
says.
understand.
The way I read it was like, wow.
That's it.
Like,
See,
saying,
I know.
satisfactory candidate would be willing to learn, you know?
So when he showed it to me and I read it and I went, yeah, okay, what? He goes, well, they don't have all. I said, it doesn't say they have to, Bob. It says the perfect candidate. He goes, well, how did you interpret that? I said, well, that's okay, but if you don't have any of that, you can still apply, so.
I read it and said, my interpretation was I was not qualified.
See, so,
If I'm not. but-
Just ask for Bob.
yeah, I get it. Okay, we got anything else? I'll go public comment one more time since we had more discussion. Do you have anything to ask? Is anyone on
we do still have people on.
anybody on the owl that has public comments?
I'm on the owl, but I don't have a public comment. Thank you.
Okay, good night. I'm gonna adjourn the meeting if you guys are done. You're done? Adjourned.
Here.
Man, you, I guess see you later.
Me?
Yeah. You want, you're doing this